See if I can turn this a little. Oops. Hey, y'all. I haven't gone live in a minute. I've never gone live on YouTube either. Um, and so I am actually at the mechanic shop getting my AC worked on because it has been down for about a year. And this year, for some reason, it has gotten so hot that I literally almost passed out a couple of times. And finally decided to just go ahead and take care of it so I won't have to deal with that anymore. Um, and so I'm doing a live, I'm pushing myself to go beyond um, fear, to go beyond doubt, to go beyond what fear of being messing up, fear of being rejected, all of those things, so that I can um, work on just moving ahead, getting ahead, moving forward, and even attracting those who have those same or similar issues with wanting to stand before people to um, speak to people about how they have gotten over their issues. So that's me. I'm sitting in my bus that I normally work in, and there have been so many different things going on with the bus itself. So I'm just taking one issue at a time, and so even with life, I felt like I could do the same thing. Just take one issue at a time. I'm trying to see if I can find this on Facebook because I did share it. Um, and one of the things that I wanted to talk about, a lot of people don't want to talk about, is dysfunctional families, and how that has an effect on each individual, even if it's very different. Some people have the same um, effect, while others take on different ways of handling it. And I know for me, being the youngest child, I don't know why I can't find this on Facebook. Being the youngest child, um, it has definitely had an impact on me, how I look at things, how is my perspective. And um, the youngest child of four, that is. Yeah, I may just have to look for it later. But I was trying to see if there were going to be any people that were commenting from Facebook. I don't know how to find it. Uh, yeah. So, hold on one second. Hmm. All right, I'm gonna keep it moving. Um, even how I looked at marriage, how I looked at as a young child, how I got my views, different perspective of what I thought marriage was. What was it to me? It was both good and bad as a child. Of course, I watched my parents stayed together. So one of the things that I was proud of as a child was that I did have both my mom. I had both my mom and my dad. Um, and so they definitely help raise us. If y'all hear the noise, it's because he's working on my fixing my air conditioner. Um, they did a great job raising us. They had four kids. I'm the youngest of four, three girls, one boy. My brother is now past that. In itself was trauma. Uh, I was 40. He was 41 when he passed. I was 40. And it wasn't a childhood trauma, but of course, everybody knows death in the family, especially when you're close to people, it's trauma, especially your siblings. Anyway, um, And that was actually 6 months after my dad passed. So we didn't even know my brother was sick. And, I remember my siblings helping to, along with my mom, helping to take care of him, along with hospice at their place, at their home. Um, we all took turns taking care of my dad, and so until he passed. And so that in itself was trauma because he was like the glue to our family, and I would say it did change things because by him not being there, the way I perceived it was like I felt like I don't know if we're gonna be close like we used to be. um, I don't know if we're gonna be close like we used to be, because my dad's not here, and I'm just being real. Um, if this is on Facebook, I really want to find it. Anyway, this is my very first video doing this type of me telling a story. I'll tell you more about my dad, especially being a young girl. I stayed up under my dad, my mom too, but I stayed up under my dad. He was very technically inclined, mechanically inclined. I got that from him. He worked on cars. He worked on the house. He helped. We had an unfinished basement when my parents first purchased the house back in 1970, um, and he uh, was able to finish it because it was a total of six of us in the house. We had, what was it, one, two, we had three bedrooms upstairs. I don't even remember who my brother used to sleep with. I think it was just three bedrooms upstairs, and then we had a room downstairs. But anyway, and one bathroom, and so with six people, and yeah, you know. Uh, Speaking of, I'll tell you about the bathroom incident another time. um, so anyway, he was able to fix the put up the walls, the wiring, because he could do all that type of stuff, and whatever he couldn't do, he would basically um, find out how to get it done and get it done, and it was done professionally. So I learned a lot from him because he would just, hey, farmer. He called me farmer. He called everybody farmer. He would say, come show me. He would explain to me what he was doing, why he was doing it, and I developed that. And then sometimes he would help me practice what he was doing. So I developed that technical skill set from him, the mechanical mindset from him as well. Um, uh, and then he was the type that he went to the military. What is it, Army? He gave his Army stories. But anyway, um, we all had to do a duty every week, every day of the week, and then we would switch the next week. So, like one week, if I had to do the kitchen, that meant I had to do the dishes, breakfast, and dinner. We had to dry everything. We couldn't leave anything in the sink. Then we would have to do the floor and the mop it, sweep it, mop it, make sure we rinsed it off. So yeah, and then he would make sure he would make sure that it was clean with his little gloves that he had or paper towels that he used. No cracks, no crannies. We cleaned everything, the floors and the corners, no matter what. Everything was clean. Well, he had a huge impact on each of us. So when he passed, it was hard on really all of us because, like I said, he was that provider. He was the uh, a man's man, as my best friend described him. He was a man's man. So when he passed away, it did do something, several things for me. So I want to find out from you all, what was it like when somebody in your family passed? How did you cope with it? For me, of course, my job gave me a few weeks off. Let's see, my children, my daughter, was my son born? He was born, but he was so young um, when my dad passed, and um, all all the children. I remember the nieces and nephews. We just I know I just talked with some of them to help them cope with it. For me, it was a process. I just let myself go through the process of him not being there, and honestly, even some years later, I would be depressed because he wasn't there. And so, how did I deal with that? I just let myself be what I was for that moment. I let myself experience that. And um, to the point that sometimes I would be doing yard work, right? And I would remember how my dad taught me how to do the yard. It was like he was still there explaining things to me, and I was able to just simple as he would show us how it was a technique even in raking the so that you wouldn't work so hard. It was like a pushing of the using your wrist. Even with the broom, he had so many techniques that he would use. And so, what I did to help cope with his absence, I would just, whenever I remembered him showing me how to do different things, it was my way of coping with it. So, to no longer be like in a depressed state because I could feel like, well, yeah, well, he's still living through me. So that's what I did. Anyway, this was my trial. This was my trial. Um, it's a lot of issues with me saying and all that stuff, but it was my trial talking about different. The first thing that I could think of where I had to come out of, I would say, being a victim because one of the things that my dad did show us was how to be independent. He showed all of us how all of his kids how to be children, how to be independent. And so to help cope with that, I wow, I just adopted a lot of the things, a lot of the teachings that he showed me. He showed me. I just adopted that to help me cope with his absence, and it was my way of keeping him there, keeping him here with me. So all that to say, you don't have to stay in the victim mode. What are some things that you do to come out of being a victim? Um, Anyway, this is again my first test run to real live. I'm gonna start doing more. Even if you're not on the live and you see this afterwards, please comment, share some of your stories. I would love to hear from more people. Please, because I'm going to be doing episodes, definitely getting a lot better. I will be having a lot more surprises for you. Again, I just wanted to get my mindset out of fear, out of doubt that I can do this, um, and that I will be helping many people just on this. We'll see how long I go a live stream. But for now, this is it. For those who did tune in, thank you for tuning in. I will see you all next time. If you are on Facebook, um, and I don't know if you commented or not, I just couldn't find it. Obviously, I'll get better with this, and I will be talking more about coming out of not being a victim, or coming out of being a victim. I have so many different stories to talk about. This was just the first one that I was comfortable with. But I do want to go, we'll talk about child molestation on the next episode. I didn't have that with me today because I was definitely a victim of child molestation. How did I deal with it? How did I come out of it? So I'll have those topics and uh, uh, what how did it affect me. So I want to talk about that because I see that so many people have gone through it, and especially my generation, they didn't really talk about it. It was hidden a lot even before my generation. Many people hid it. Um, so I want to discuss that, and for those who are still in victim mode, let's talk about it. And yes, we're going to be working on how to get you into thriving mode instead of still remaining as a victim. All right, talk with you all on my next live. Oh, yep. Did I say my name? This is Dr. Cheryl. Tuning out.